Protecting your biggest investment.
You definitely want to get that done in the early spring.
From the foundation to the roof.
Water is the #1 enemy of the home.
The damage you need to be looking for to keep your family safe.
Paint is the easiest thing to freshen up your house.
The investments to make now that could save you money over time.
Sustainability and energy efficiency are high on their list.
And how a little organization can help you dust off those winter blues.
Most people, their biggest response is almost like, I feel like I can breathe now.
Tonight, Fox 43 helps you get home smart just in time for spring.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Braden Long.
And I'm Danielle Miller. Tonight is all about timing. What you should be doing now to assess the home damage of the winter months and spring ahead without the stress of unexpected problems and repairs. Now, before we look ahead, we need to look back at the interesting weather conditions we had this winter over the past couple of months.
Well, right, because of course the winter weather says a lot about what you're going to have on your hands this spring. From the coldest Christmas Eve on record to the warmth of January and February, we have been all over the place. So let's take a look at what we predicted and what we actually got.
The hallmarks of the Fox 43 Weather Team's winter outlook looked like this: lower than average snowfall totals and warmer than average temperatures. And while the inches of snow certainly didn't stack up, winter took some swings nonetheless. Let's take it month by month. If there was any significant chance of a simple major snowstorm, it was going to be in December. Looking back on the month, the cooler than average high temperatures locked in, and it did give the most snow of any month at 4.4 inches. However, there was one problem for snow lovers. While moisture was hard to come by in December, January and February both tied for the least snowfall on record. Only a trace of snow at HIA from both months combined. That made the winter of 2022 and 2023 the 6th least snowy winter on record. But December did give us a record of its own, the coldest Christmas Eve on record. A wave of Siberian air plummeted across the country, setting cold records after cold temperatures. The high temperature at HIA, 15 degrees Christmas Eve, wind chills 10 below zero. Christmas Day, the 25th of December, of course, appropriately hit only 25 degrees. By January, temperatures looked up. So much, in fact, it was the third warmest January on record. Only 2 days out of the month had below average high temperatures. That extended into February as well, only 4 days below average, the second warmest February on record. Season-wide, 5.9 inches of snowfall brought us 16.7 inches short, nearly a foot and a half of normal totals. We made up for it in total precipitation, however, mostly as rain, only falling behind 1.17 inches in the liquid water department. So back to our checklist. When all is said and done, we can check off the above average temperatures on the list and half-heartedly check off the below average snowfall thanks to a top 10 low year that was more than 10 inches below even our lower than average prediction.
The winter season puts the exterior of your home to the test, be it cold and wind or snow and ice.
I tagged along with a home inspector to get a checklist for what you should look for on the outside of your home.
Gutters for debris, any damage from snow runoff, things like that, debris that might be up on the roof.
From your roof to your basement, siding to windows, winter can be a test for every part of your home. Tate Cruzon is a home inspector with Home Check, serving all of Central PA and more. The roof of this home was his first stop.
Watch your trees and shrubs, where they're coming in contact with the house. Chimneys, checking for debris, check our flashings, make sure our rain caps are intact. Always check your flashings, like your ridge vents right here, making sure that there's nothing lifted up.
And while you're up there, check for any projects that may come up through the season.
Do that caulking, sealing, priming, painting, refinishing all the exterior wood surfaces, your decks and things like that.
Whether it's winter snow or spring rain, treat water as your greatest foe. Whether it's your landscaping.
Water is the #1 enemy of the home. Caulk and seal between all and like materials, any cracks in the openings around the outside of the house. We want to make sure we're shedding water out and away.
Your doors.
Some people have wood, okay, and where the wood comes down and meets these metal thresholds, they forget to seal along these joints and they get a lot of deterioration up in through here. End grain of wood sucks water up like a straw.
Or windows.
Vinyl siding right here comes in contact with your window jambs. You should be sealing that joint in there to make sure that we're shedding the water out in the way. Again, Don't go along and run any caulking underneath because we don't want to trap anything. Anything that may happen to get in behind there, we want it to be able to drip out or release.
And no check is complete without a visit to the basement.
We're looking at the foundation. We're looking for any signs of any cracks or any moisture coming through. I'm also checking all of the framing up through here. I'm looking for any signs of any moisture, any issues that may have come through. I'm also looking for any signs of any wood-destroying insects. Spring is termite season.
And to check for those termites, look for flat surfaces where insect parts may collect or for growths on the wood itself. Tate also said now is as good of a time as ever to test your sump pump and battery backups, as well as to talk to a landscaper about trees and shrubs on the property and how they survived the winter.
And don't forget your hoses and exterior water lines for any cracking. You can test those by simply turning the water on and checking for leaks. For more information all about the exterior of your home, just go to fox43.com. Another major step you can take to transition your home from winter to spring is making sure your HVAC system is ready for the warmer weather. HVACs are necessary to keep your home cool in the spring and summer. Professionals with Lancaster Plumbing and Heating say keeping up with the air filter in your heating and cooling system is one of the most important things you can do.
Definitely changing the air filter. That's number one. It's the most common overlooked thing that people sometimes forget. It's out of sight, out of mind, and that's one of the biggest causes of failures on HVAC equipment.
Bowman says if air filters are not changed, it can decrease the efficiency of the whole system, costing you more money.
And springtime often brings a renewed energy for tasks, including cleaning, reorganizing, and more.
I spoke with a local home improvement expert to find out what tasks homeowners can DIY themselves and what projects they may want to hire the professionals for. It just takes one sunny spring day for business to pick up at GR Mitchell, a home improvement store in West Lampeter Township, Lancaster County. That's exactly where I went to meet Dave Gish, who's been working in home improvement his entire career.
I love hardware because I can help people. I solve their problems.
He says there's many common spring home repairs that customers come in for this time of the year. One of the biggest is for window screens.
If the screen's torn really bad, then you're going to have to replace all the screen. If it's not, it just has a small hole, then you can just go with a small patch. Easy. It's self-sticking. You can just put it on.
Gish says this is an easy DIY, though you can hire this job out too. Another easy DIY to tackle this time of the year, cleaning your dryer vents.
And there's different methods. We have a brush that hooks up to a drill. We have one up here with extensions. You can go up. Mine at home is almost 25 feet, so it's the longer you have, the better chance you have of it getting clogged, so it's even more important.
If you're feeling like a full home refresh is needed, this is the perfect time of the year to paint.
Paint is the easiest thing to freshen up your house. It's also the most inexpensive to do, so you can change the whole color of your room by changing the color of the paint.
Spring is a great time to do it because you can open up the windows to help speed up the drying process and vent out any fumes. One final DIY project that homeowners should be doing every month is replacing your air filters.
It seems like a lot of times people will have a tendency to change it when they turn the air conditioner on, or they have a tendency to turn on when the heat or the furnace comes on. It's something that if you have the regular 1 inch, it should be done every month. And it's very, very important because it does control the quality of the air going through your house. If you have pets, it's even more important to keep an eye on making sure that you change it every month.
Aside from the personal health benefits, changing these filters will help keep your equipment running at top efficiency. While a lot of these spring projects homeowners can tackle themselves, Gish says there are a few things you should leave up to the experts.
The biggest thing would be electrical. I have people coming in sometimes that I will actually tell them you need to hire an electrician because you shouldn't be tackling electric on your own.
Other big home remodels, such as a kitchen flip, should also be done with the help of some professionals. If you have questions for any of these projects, Gish says the internet is a great place to find DIY help.
Well, YouTube is great. I mean, Google it, YouTube, that helps a lot.
And of course, you can always find a wealth of knowledge at your local hardware store. Energy savings. After the break, how transitioning your home to use energy-efficient products could help cut costs.
Plus, garden preparations, the tips local landscaping experts have to make sure your garden shines throughout the spring and summer.
If you're looking to purchase something more energy efficient or want to make a few upgrades in your current home, there are so many options.
Fox 43's Ali Debicki talked to one local building company about what is available.
There is plenty of opportunity for your home to go green while saving some green as well. For a new buyer, Michael Clapes, regional sales manager of Keystone Custom Homes, says energy efficiency is easier to attain than one may think.
Green initiatives, I mean, that's paving the way. Customers come to us and they want to own a Keystone home, but they want to make sure that they're making a decision that's good for the environment, not only good for their family. So sustainability and energy efficiency are high on their list.
And those initiatives are prioritized right off the bat, starting from the way the home is built.
2x6 construction gives us a deeper cavity for insulation. We actually set our exterior studs at 19¼ inch on center. That actually gives wider openings for insulation, so it's more insulation in the walls, less wood, which is more efficient.
Additional efficiency options include LED lighting throughout the home, energy-efficient windows with dual locking mechanisms, smart thermostats, insulated garage and garage doors, and energy-efficient toilets.
We spend a lot of time making sure that our floor plans are functional for the families, but also that they're sustainable, that they're energy efficient.
Clapes also says improvements are not exclusive to new buyers, and that it's easy to make changes to your current home.
Something somebody could do after they complete the home, or something somebody could do in a resale home, is window treatments. So certainly plantation shutters or wood blinds or even curtains can help the energy efficiency of a home as well.
You can also switch out an aging furnace with an energy-conscious model, and depending on the community's regulations, solar panels may be added to your roof to help cut down on costs. Ali Debicki, Fox 43 News.
Spring outlook. After a warmer than average winter, we break down what to expect for the spring so you can start planning your outdoor upgrades.
Plus, spring cleaning still ahead. A professional organizer explains how decluttering could help give a better mental outlook for the rest of the year.
For many in early March, the daffodils are already blooming. People have their gardens in mind after a warmer than average winter. And that warmer than average winter is one in a line of several over the past few years. But the overall global weather pattern that we've been stuck in looks to shift beginning in spring of 2023. Let's break down how that looks for March, April, and May.
2023 looks to be the year our weather pattern finally changes. For 3 years now, we've been dealing with La Nina. That's only ever happened twice before on record. La Nina conditions start with cooler than average surface water temperatures along the equator of the Pacific Ocean. That generally sets us up for mild conditions like we had this winter, along with slightly above average precipitation. This year, our precip, of course, fell as mostly rain, but through the year, we're set up to change back to El Nino conditions. Of course, exactly the opposite of La Nina. Sea surface temperatures warm at the equator along the Pacific, and that typically does set us up for drier conditions once it takes hold. In between now and the winter, spring will serve as a transition time, a transition simply to normal. In fact, it's essentially locked in with near 100% confidence from the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And while changing climate patterns can lead to occasional temperature and precipitation swings, normal for south central Pennsylvania sets up like this. For March, April, and May, between 3.5 to 4 inches of rain each month. It's temperature that we really notice the changing daily weather. March's average of 41.8 degrees rises to 53.2 degrees in April, which includes a 12.5 degree rise in average temperature. For May, same thing, up to just over a 63 degree average, with nearly a 74 degree average high. Here's the outlook for March, April, and May from the Climate Prediction Center as well. Factoring in the changing pattern along with a changing jet stream, we come close to normal with a low potential of above average rainfall around 30%, and the same for above average temperatures as we factor in the overall temperature rise expectation due to global warming. The good news after our warm winter is that the snowpack in New York State is low. As it melts, that contributes to river flooding downstream on the Susquehanna and its tributaries. But with the less than average snowfall, we should get a break from seasonal river flooding.
And while spring largely sets up the pattern for summer, we can expect much of the same average conditions, though as we transition to an El Nino setup, we'll dry out a bit more and warm up just a bit as well compared to our seasonal averages. We'll really start to feel the El Nino developing by late summer and early fall, which will have a bigger impact on the winter of 2023-2024.
When you think spring, you start thinking about grasses, weeds, and planting. The steps you take now are important to make sure your outdoor area shines. Andrea Michaels has some tips to get you on the right path.
A plush lawn and bright garden could be right around the corner. Taking some easy steps now will pay off by the summer. But where to start? Luckily, the milder weather doesn't affect when to pre-treat the grass for weeds.
You could start doing the first round early March.
Do you have to do it that early?
No.
Matt Musser, general manager at the Inch & Co. Landscape Division, says that as long as the ground isn't frozen and you beat the weeds, it's fine. But he says if you're seeding for that thicker grass, you're already past the ideal time, and the window of opportunity is closing fast.
You definitely want to get that done in the early spring, but the best time is in the fall for that.
Be sure to avoid any pre-herbicide for about 5 weeks, or you risk hurting the grass. Fixing up any brown patches is simple.
One way would be, to use a hand tool, work those little areas up, and then just put seed in those.
Then water is needed, and you're on your way to your greenest grass yet.
Some irrigation when it's dry would be great for your lawn.
Setting up flower beds, plants, and trees for the warmer months is a little different, but it's still simple. Start by taking care of any weeds or treating.
Manually, pulling them. You could use a herbicide product such as, Roundup to maybe like 2 weeks before you mulch, spray Roundup, let the weeds die.
With weeds out of the way, mulching is next. Just be mindful of how much you're using.
I like to try to go about 1.5 to 2 inches because you don't want the mulch to build up too much over time. But for a brand new bed or a bed that hasn't been mulched, say in 2 or 3 years, I'm going to go like a good 3 inches thick.
Musser recommends oak bark mulch over a hardwood mulch.
The one benefit I really like about the oak bark mulch is if you get a lot of water or a heavy thunderstorm or something, hardwood mulch can seem to just float away. They float out into your yard.
Be sure to avoid the root flares of any trunks or stems because trees and plants could die early years down the line.
So the root flare is basically right where you see the roots starting to flare out from the main trunk here. So when you're mulching, you want the mulch just to come in right to about there.
You can use stone as opposed to mulch. It's a higher startup cost, but there's a nice advantage for your busier lifestyles.
The biggest benefit to stone is that you only have to do it once. Then the next year, the third year, fourth year, you don't have to worry about it.
Just make sure to purchase a thicker weed fabric instead of the thinner fabrics.
I've actually seen the weeds growing straight through them, so I would suggest getting something of quality.
With these simple tips and a little upkeep, your outdoor escape will be in tip-top shape in no time. Andrea Michaels, Fox 43 News.
A sigh of relief. The mental health benefits of spring cleaning, plus how decluttering could add days to your life. Spring is right around the corner, and with longer days and warmer weather on the way, many of us try to refresh our home setups with a good old-fashioned spring cleaning.
Though, as Fox 43's Amy Lutz explains, decluttering and organizing can do a lot more for us than make life simply more manageable.
Spring cleaning is about so much more than just vacuuming or dusting. Studies show a messy environment can actually negatively impact your mental health.
From heightened states of cortisol, the inability to focus, especially if we already have, attention difficulties, having a lot of stuff around really stretches our ability to focus on the task at hand.
And health and wellness expert Liz Rimes says that's not all.
It can create sometimes even further isolation because people can be embarrassed that their home is messy or not have the opportunity to get it cleaned up, and so they won't socialize. They wouldn't have people over to their home. And that also plays a big part on our mental health.
Essentially, clearing out the clutter can clear your mind.
So there's statistics that say, I forget what it is, but you spend 12 days of your year looking for things that you can't find.
Kyla Bachman is a professional organizer based in York County. She says even if it looks terrifying, the first thing you want to do is take everything out of a room so you can see what you have.
So many people like end up laughing that like, why do I have 70 black leggings? Like I didn't know I had that much, or I've bought 500 light bulbs or 500 batteries because I just didn't know that I had it in 17 different places.
The next step is to purge.
I usually say if it means something great to you, we will find a place to keep it.
Clear containers are great for organizing what you have left, but she says don't buy them until you know exactly what you need.
Most people, like their biggest response is almost like, I feel like I can breathe now. People who are more organized and have places for things, like are more productive, they're more healthy, they sleep better, they do all that stuff because they're not like wasting time finding things.
If you're feeling overwhelmed or unsure where to begin, that's okay too. Liz suggests starting with something small, like a closet.
Something small like that actually can create the motivation to then build on it and tackle bigger projects. So that sense of accomplishment is huge for feelings of anxiety or procrastination or feeling depressed.
From important home checklist items to why they're so important, we hope this helped you prepare for your spring cleaning.
To stay home smart at any time, watch these stories. Head over to our website, fox43.com, or check out the Fox 43 Plus app for Amazon Fire and Roku TV. For Danielle Miller and myself, have a good night.